Hey guys, and welcome to episode 10 of Divine FM. This week, I'm going to be talking about breaking the cycle and accepting change. Deep breath, everyone. Deep breath. I have no words. I am so deeply sorry if I have anyone who genuinely comes to my podcast seeking help or advice, because that's what it's here for. I'm so sorry for neglecting it the past 2 weeks. I have had such a crazy month of December. I'm excited to talk about it and also to talk about accepting change, because that's been a huge part of just my life in general the past couple of months, especially this past month, and especially going into this new year. I feel like accepting change will be good for absolutely everyone, honestly. So, to start off, hi, it's been a while. It's good to talk to you guys. I always have such a big smile on my face whenever I'm recording this because it just brings me so much joy. But yeah, so at the middle to end of December, I went to trade school in Houston, and I got a few different licenses in the engineering field that has to do with submersible sump pumps and wastewater sump pumps, if anyone knows what that is. um, it's a very niche it's a very niche field, and I work in the field. I'm at a manufacturing rep, basically. We sell parts and stuff, and it's all related to the specific engineering field. And I wanted to educate myself on all the things that we're selling at my job, because I want to grow with the company. And so I signed myself up and I went, and it was so fun. Definitely one of the most fulfilling experiences I've ever had in my entire life. It was so out of my comfort zone. I don't even know where to begin with how out of my comfort zone it was, but that's exactly what I've been trying to do, is do things that scare me but excite me. So yeah, 10 out of 10 experience. If anyone is interested, especially anyone if you're a female and you're nervous about it but you're interested in going into the trades, I would not recommend it enough. I literally didn't see a female for all the days that I was there. But if you want to be there and you want to learn, they're gonna accept you, and they're gonna want to help you. It was such a welcoming environment, even though again, I was the only female, and I don't even know if I was the youngest one. I probably wasn't, but it was just so crazy, the whole atmosphere. I felt like I dead ass invaded a man's world, and continue to invade it as I'm now trying to grow and become a salesman. And I'm even considering going back to trade school and actually going into the field and doing the hands-on work, because I'm a pretty strong girl. I'm a pretty strong woman, honestly, and I think I could do it. I think I would thrive in the field. So all of this really excites me for the future. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do right now. I'm just taking it day by day. So yeah, that's what I was up to before Christmas. And then Christmas happened so fast, and that was really stressful for me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people could relate to the fact that financially it is just tough during Christmas time to make sure that everything is still being budgeted correctly, but also having to somehow budget a couple hundred extra dollars for gifts is just has been a tough thing for me. I've been slowly buying my gifts since October, and still I felt I struggled to get a lot of them until last minute, and I don't know. It was tight, we'll say that. And that's really stressful, obviously. So I've just had a lot of things on my plate recently, and so that's why I couldn't really make any podcast episodes. And I also kind of neglected my YouTube channel a bit. I just uploaded a vlog recently, but it was a combination of two different vlogs, because I just didn't have the time to edit it and post it before I went to trade school. The part 1 of my vlog of Vlogmas week 2. But they're uploaded now, and I've been recording clips for my next vlog, so I feel good about that. And yeah, I guess that's it about me and my explanation for why I was gone for so long. But yeah, so this week I really wanted to talk about accepting change, because I feel like that's something that a lot of people don't like to hear. just don't like the word change. They don't want to be changed. They don't think there's anything wrong with them to change. And, like, I just feel like the word and, like, the idea behind it has such a negative stigma. And, like, I don't see why change is so bad. Like, especially going into a new year, like, everyone's making their New Year's resolutions and they're manifesting their dream life, making their vision boards, and, like, you know, having all of these plans for themselves. And, like, the majority of those plans and ideas for, like, your best version of yourself that you can envision, like, that involves change. And I feel like just a lot of people struggle with the idea because it takes, like, physical work in the 3D, not just, like, mentally wanting to, like, make the change. You know, you actually have to do it, and that's the hard part. And that's why I feel like so many people, like, don't even want to hear it because they feel like there's something wrong with them. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents maybe into why I think change is good and why accepting change is the best thing you can do for yourself. So, for example, I put myself through trade school and I came back to my job, and I thought that I was gonna, like, move up very quickly. I thought that I was just gonna be trained, and I thought that, boom, I'm gonna become a salesman, and that's that. That was my whole idea for, like, 2 months that I was waiting to go to trade school. Like, I kept, like, manifesting this idea of, like, where I'm gonna be by this time, honestly, in January. I thought that I would literally make the switch so quick. And very soon after I got back from trade school, I realized that's not how it works in the real world. Like, there's training processes that are involved, and there's just a lot more that has to go into that than just, boom, you're no longer a secretary, you're now a salesman, now you have an office, now blah blah blah, all these things are changed, and now they're, like, just happening for you. I don't know why, I just, like, thought that was gonna be my reality. And so, like, I've been having to accept the fact that that's not my reality, and that was a change for me, like, a big fat one. That can be a good example of, like, a good change, you know. And, like, or in relationships is another example. If you're ever, like, with someone and they tell you they don't want you to change them, or you tell someone that I don't want you to change me, like, I don't really know how I feel about that concept, but I feel like it's one of the things that was on my mental list that I wanted to talk about. I don't know how I feel about that, because I feel like, why is change bad? Especially when it comes to relationships. Like, whenever you love someone, like, you literally want to do whatever you can to, like, make them happy, or to, like, do what is best for them. Not only for yourself, but for them, you know? But, like, you're making that conscious choice to be in a relationship, so you also have to make that conscious choice to, like, be a good partner, you know? And so, personally, I feel like whenever you are trying to escape change, you're running from change when it comes to, like, if your partner, like, expects something of you maybe, and you feel like it's too much, or you feel like they're expecting too much of you, and they feel like they're trying to change you because they, like, don't like something that you're doing maybe. I feel like if your partner is comfortable enough with you to tell you that they don't like something that you're doing, and they explain to you, like, not in a projecting mean way, that, like, how it's making them feel and what could, like, be done to, like, fix it, I feel like if that's a problem with the person on the receiving end, then you shouldn't be in a relationship / be with, like, that type of person if you don't want to be better. You know what I mean? Because, like, in those kind of situations, like, changing for someone else doesn't necessarily have to mean they don't like you or they don't like that part of you. It's just that if you want to fit with someone, you know, like, sometimes there's some, like, meshing around to do, and that's, like, always to be for your highest good as well, especially if you feel like you're with your soulmate or, like, a divine connection. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to mesh with someone, like, that's just, it's not always going to be perfect, you know? Like, we all come from different backgrounds. We all come from, like, just so many different things that make us who we are. It's impossible for us to be, like, I feel like, perfect for someone else. Or, I don't know if I want to say that, because honestly I feel like it is possible to, like, be exactly perfect for someone else, but maybe it's just hard to see that in them. I'm not exactly sure. Let's put a pin in it. I don't want to give advice on something that I'm actually not totally sure about, but I did start this off by saying when it comes to changing relationships, I'm a little I don't know how I feel about it, just because I haven't been in enough serious relationships, I think, to actually know, like, because I personally don't think change is bad, but, like, I also have very high, morals, I guess. I don't know how to put it. Like, I have high standards. I have lots of boundaries that I set from an early on in all of my relationships, and if people don't like them or don't respect them, then they're just not for me. At least that's how I feel. So, if I'm with someone, I'm continuing to pursue them, and I feel like there's something that I need to change, and I'm like okay with that. If it like also feels right for me, that it's like will better me as well, and it's something that they taught me about myself, you know what I mean? I love that shit. Like, I would love to change myself if it's for my highest good. If I'm still on the path to become like the highest version of myself, fuck yeah. Give me all the what is it? The what criticism? The what's the word? You know what I'm saying? The whatever criticism. It starts with a C. Why can't I remember it? I don't know. But you know what I'm talking about. Like, give me the criticism if it's for not only your highest good, but also my highest good. You know what I mean? But that's a very particular situation, so I might move on with that. But not even in just relationships. Like, accepting change in life in general is hard as fuck. Like, whether it has to be with, someone passing away or something happening in your life that's like traumatic, and your life will never be the same. That is a huge thing that people struggle with every single day. And so I feel like if we can have it in our minds, especially at the beginning of the year, guys, like, if anyone's struggling out there with, like, depression, anxiety, like, losing a loved one, being lonely, just, anything that really feels self-isolating and just really being alone in those feelings, just know that there's always, like, a bright end of the tunnel. And if you can accept what's happening to you, I feel like the world always, always, always will replenish what it takes from you in tenfold. Like, it always wants to give you overflow if you allow it to. If you accept what it's giving you and say, I trust that, not, you don't have to say it, but, just feeling like you trust that things will get better, that no matter what is happening to me, what has happened to me, or what will happen to me, everything will be okay, and everything works in divine timing, and everything works out for me. If you can, like, genuinely believe that, I feel like it could really honestly change your life in, like, so many different circumstances. It doesn't really have to be in any particular one. Like, here's another example. I have a very deep trauma wound, I guess. Like, I get extremely triggered when it comes to things happening to me in my car. And I recently was driving to the gym, like, super, super early in the morning. So it was, like, super dark, and I have really fogged headlights, and so I just couldn't see very well. Wasn't on my phone or anything. I dead ass just, like, was driving like a normal person listening to a podcast. Like, wasn't being crazy, girl. And I somehow ran into the curb, like, in a way that it was so scary. I felt like a car accident. You know what I mean? Like, my car, like, oh my gosh, it was so scary just thinking about it. So I don't want to think about it. But I bent my rim really, really bad and, like, blew out my tire. And, like, it was, like, maybe, like, before 5:15 a.m. in the morning. So, like, no places were going to be open for so long. And I had work that morning and everything. And in that moment, I maybe was triggered for, like, I don't even know. I can't remember how long I was triggered for, because it wasn't even that long. Because I was just so, like, I don't know, I guess accepting of the situation, because the second that it happened, obviously I was scared shitless. And it was all the feelings were flooding through me. What I had just mentioned, the fact that, oh my god, I wanted to go to the gym, and I got up, and now this has happened to me. And thankfully, like, whenever I, like, pulled to the side, there was an apartment building parking lot, like, right there around the corner. So I managed to get my car into, like, a safe place in the parking lot, and I wasn't just, like, on the road or anything. So, like, thank God for that. But yeah, I just, like, after I let all the emotions flood through me, I just took a minute, and I took a bunch of deep breaths, and I was like, okay, what am I gonna do about that? this just happened to me. This is my reality. Now I have to move on. I have to fix it because I still have to go on about my day. The world is not ending. This is just a singular day, and everything will work out even better than I think it will. That's literally what I told myself that day. And then my dad ended up helping me buy, like, all 4 tires for my car that day. And that's, like, was my Christmas present, which is crazy because that's literally what I was going to ask him for anyways, was to replace my tires because I was going to go to trade school, and I was hoping to get new tires before I went to trade school. And it literally happened. Like, I manifested that shit. But in order for my manifestation to come into fruition, I needed that to happen. Like, for some reason, that accident just had to happen, and I had to have responded to it in the way that I did, because my dad was really the last person I wanted to call when that happened. So many other people and places were flooding through my mind, or just ideas of, like, what I could do besides call my dad, literally. But I just knew my highest self was like, the easiest solution for everyone would just to be to call my dad. And so he was the first person that I called. And I actually, like, hung up 2 rings in because I was like, fuck, like, he's off today. He's going to be so upset. And then, so I hung up, hoping he didn't wake up. And then he calls me right back. And it was just, my dad's an Aquarius. He's a very emotionally, like, unavailable guy. And so he doesn't respond well to emotion. And I, on the other hand, am a Capricorn. And I'm very, 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 very emotional. I have such a deep pit of emotion that it overflows. And so I'm just, like, so glad that I responded to the situation the way that I did, because I was able to, like, call my dad and, like, be around him and my stepmom. And they even helped me. Well, they didn't help me. My stepmom encouraged me to look up how to change my own tire, because this was, like, a really good, like, situation for me to be in order for me to learn how to change my own tire, because I've brought it up a couple of times about how I, like, really want to start being more independent, and specifically wanted to learn how to change my own tire. And so while I was waiting for the, like, tire place, I think it was Discount Tire, we had ordered a rim and tires and stuff. While I was waiting for that, I looked at videos on how to change my own tire. And then whenever we bought my new rim, I went and I dead-ass changed my own tire. And then I ended up not only changing my own tire and, like, having those skills, like, now I'm, like, confident around, like, mechanics and, like, tire places and stuff, because I, like, literally, I don't know, I just felt like I had a common interest, with them. Like, and I went to the tire place so many times about my rim, and then about my new tires, and then I had to get a spare tire, and then just, it was such a good experience that came out of a bad experience. And that only happened because I accepted it, like, immediately, and I didn't, like, let it, like, wash over me and, like, ruin my whole day and just ruin absolutely everything that had to do with fixing it. And I thought that was really powerful, and you can apply that to literally every situation that happens to you, whether it's, like, a small thing in the office, or whether it's something with your kids, or whether it's something with your partner. Being able to just, like, accept what's happening to you or what's being asked of you, and deciding truly, like, is my ego responding to this, or do I want to respond to this? And, like, always respond, from, like, the vision of your highest self, because wild till we're here, spread love, spread light, and be ourselves, and embrace, our authentic selves. And I want to do no less but encourage that. So yeah, I guess maybe that's all I have to say. I just really wanted to talk about change, because now that it's 2025, so many things are changing. Like, we have a new president. That's a big change too. Like, I think about it every day, because everyone at my office is a Trump supporter, and it's really curious to me. But I just avoid politics really now, and that's something that I need to change, because I want to be politically informed, especially if I'm going to be working as a salesman alongside all men who most likely are Trump supporters. I feel like the only way I'm going to keep my sanity is if I, like, keep myself informed, so I, like, can actually have genuine conversations with these people. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I hope you guys had such a beautiful Christmas with your family and your friends, or with yourself and your pets. I hope you had an amazing New Year's, and I will see you next week on Divine FM.